hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
Hello everybody and welcome to our newest patch for Marvel Heroes. This one is 1.34 and it has some amazing features that we have been waiting for a very, very long time. Chief amongst which is the release of Winter Soldier. He's been on the test center for a few weeks. I went over a lot of his powers and stuff. Feel free to take a look at those, but I'm still going to go into Midtown later on. And in addition, this represents kind of a first for Marvel Heroes itself, where they're actually really emphasizing the voice actor, who is also the same guy who voiced Solid Snake. His name is David Hayter. So very, very exciting, really a big name voice actor, especially in the gaming community. So very exciting. We're going to be playing as him mostly. Excuse me. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be taking him into Midtown for a couple of reasons. But first off, one of the things that many people have been asking for is a review of Insignias, because the basic issue is that Insignias were just in basically two categories. They were either really good or really bad, and they were never used. So what the developers have done is they went over all of the Insignias and they made them much more desirable if they weren't before, or they just left them alone if they were still plenty desirable. So for example, I've got a couple of examples to show you. Essentially what happened were three different things. First, the existing ones were buffed. The existing auras were buffed. So for example, where did it go? So like the Valkyrie actually ended up getting more health. Nick Fury. So on many of the Insignias now, you will see these two different powers, and the idea is that you have one power that affects you and only you, and one that affects both you and your allies. You can see it in the yellow text here, where for Nick Fury, if you use a shield medkit, then you can summon a tactical agent. That is you. You don't have to be near anybody or anything else. But then the tactical support aura is when you use any power, you and your allies gain damage and intelligence. Right, so that affects everybody that is near you. By the same token, there's a whole bunch of different ones that got this. Nick Fury is just one of them. Captain America was massively buffed. You can see all of that yellow text here. But again, you see when you pick up any orb, you and your allies gain health, and then you have the Battlefront Leader Aura, which is just because you have this equipped, then when you hit with the physical power, then everybody gains a whole bunch of stuff if they're nearby you. So these represent a whole lot of different facets of the there. Wasp is another one that now has two, but they just to read off a few of them, you've got Thor, Wasp, Captain America, Wonder Man, Quicksilver, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, Adam Warlock, Nick Fury, Iceman, Phoenix, Archangel, and Weapon X, just to name just a handful of the ones that got that new aura. In addition, the built-in auras are buffed as well, and those include a whole bunch, including Hawkeye, Wolverine, Crystal, Luke Cage, Peter Rasputin, or Colossus, but his insignia is actually Peter Rasputin. I've actually got one right here. And then we've got Bullseye, Juggernaut, Elektra, and Beast are the ones that got their regular power just buffed up substantially. And there are also a bunch of new insignias, including new categories of insignia. For example, we now have the Marvel Knights category and the Defenders category. So that means that not only do we have new insignias that we can go out and find, but that also means that characters can potentially equip a lot more of them. So you see here for poor Winter Soldier, he can only equip Avengers and Shield, but if we swap over to, say, Moon Knight, just for the sake of argument, he should be able to equip the Marvel Knights ones, assuming that that everything for this has been implemented. So there's Marvel Knights and Defenders. It used to be just Avengers and Shield, but now it's also Marvel Knights and Defenders. And just as a side note for the Hawkeye one there, that's an example of what it looks like now. The crit hit rating was increased, and I believe the time was increased as well. So just a huge insignia review. You can see the entire list of everything that was done on the the patch notes page. There were also a review of the affixes where we had things ranging from health to increased damage to increased crit rating, all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of the ones that weren't used, that weren't really popular, have been completely removed. So that is the green lettering underneath the yellow there. So the insignia actual affixes are going to be a lot more attractive now. So that's very, very exciting. And just as a side note, if you're up there now, on the day 200, the official Wolverine, or the official team-up variant, is the Wolverine X-Force team-up variant. So that's kind of cool. It's nice to just have another team up here. I'm more looking forward to some of the other Wolverine ones that they have. And just a couple other minor notes, just social-wise. Well, Marvel Heroes, not we, but Marvel Heroes won the MMORPG Game of the Year for, I believe it was the MMO category, and that ended on Saturday. And I think that part of it is now, look, we've got spam bots, and they're trying to sell G. So make sure that you don't go to any of these random websites and try to buy G. Look, there it is again. It's the same one too. All right, so just make sure that you don't do that. But now I'm going to hop back over to Winter Soldier so that we can get this party started, because one of the biggest changes is with Midtown. We have bosses that are not part of boss waves, just like we do in ICP, and we also have several other changes to the way that the boss waves actually come in. So right away you can see we've got Manape on the map. Well, now they're gone, but we had the Sentinel wave active, and now if it would load, I'd be able to move. Okay, fine. I didn't want to move anyway. I don't care. Wow. Ugh. Hooray, I'm level 2. Alright, well that's better. Jeez. I thought that a lot of that stuff was better fixed. But either way, so there's a lot that's been fixed. You can also see here that the what's it called? I can't think now. The text is altered as well. Which is pretty cool, I think. And for Winter Soldier here specifically, we got some really cool powers that we can unlock. We'll take out Manape and see what he gives us. Which basically means that now we can much more efficiently farm some of the what's it called? Some of like the medallions and all that kind of stuff. So it's very exciting. Oh no, Frightful 4. There you can see, and then we've got the Mole Man up there as well. Just lots of cool. And look, Manape is back already. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff going on. And one thing that the developers noted in the patch notes is that we now have what's called asynchronous loading, or async loading, and that essentially just means that not everything is going to be loaded at the exact same time. It's going to be it's going to come in one at a time essentially. Oh, so see, this is kind of cool. Now they actually come in at the bank. They never used to do that, so that's kind of nifty. But either way, lots of really interesting changes to Midtown itself. Some really cool stuff going on. And with Winter Soldier himself, I know I was on the test center with him not too long ago, but there have been some fairly substantial changes even just with him too, where now instead of having a lot of his powers being labeled as ranged versus melee, they have now focused more on the arsenal and the bionics. And essentially what that means is it becomes much easier to make him into a hybrid hero, because you don't have to worry about powers that only affect the ranged versus the melee, but instead those tags are just gone now. And they've essentially been replaced by the completely, or almost completely, by the bionic and arsenal ones. So really cool. Very fun. I had a blast with him on Test Center. Obviously I haven't played him on live because you've been watching me level up since I started with him. But either way, very fun. Really well done. I think I really enjoy him. I like playing as him, but we'll head back to the tower for now because we're just about to wrap up. There's a couple of other major changes that came in, though. First off, we have two other major hero alterations. The first one is Captain America, who got a massive quality of life review, which includes the super soldier serum system, which essentially gives him little pips on the top that you can spend using different powers. Because previously, yes, I know, because previously what would happen was you would have to watch your power bar constantly to see when you could use the abilities again, and he also has the ability to stop all of his cooldowns, and a lot of his passive abilities were consolidated as well. All sorts of changes like that. Some very, very welcome, very, very well done changes as well. Just in general, more of a Captain America feel. But again, on one of my Twitch streams, I actually played as him, and I went through a lot of the changes with him. The other major change to a character was actually with X-23. Oh, excuse me. And what she did is her big thing, for those of you who aren't really too aware of her, is bleeds. She really works a lot off of bleeds, specifically off of one power called Cleaving Claws. But now, instead, she has a new mechanic that they just call grievous wounds. So, in other words, it doesn't mean that you quote-unquote have your Cleaving Claw stacks. Everything just uses the grievous wounds, because not everybody wanted to use the Cleaving Claws basic. You don't have to use it, and now it's even easier to not have to use it, simply because there are a lot more options with this new grievous wounds mechanic. So lots of wonderful changes, great changes, not only with X-23 and Captain America, but really solid release for Winter Soldier. Obviously, still some bugs to be ironed out as always, but the Insignia review, very, very welcome. Midtown being fixed up, also obviously very much needed, although that has some more bugs than what we would really like to see, especially with regard to spawns of enemies. But obviously that's going to be tuned in the upcoming weeks. But regardless, I hope that you enjoy this much bigger patch. I hope that you can see some cool new things that let you utilize some of those insignias a bit better, and that you like, most importantly, the changes to the heroes as well as the release of Winter Soldier. And I will just leave you with this, my daily gift box here, which probably just gave me a bunch of splinters and all that good stuff. But regardless, the one other note is the event. Right now, we actually do not have an event occurring. Instead, we will have Odin's Bounty starting tomorrow, Friday the 6th, at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And so I'm actually going to post I'm going to post in my patch notes forum thread what that exact schedule is. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Odin's Bounty, the way it works is that individual sections of the game that contain bosses will have Odin's Bounty. So you have terminals, you'll have X Defense, you'll have Holosim, whatever it happens to be, Midtown, obviously, ICP. And if you go there and you defeat the bosses, then they will drop these Odin's Bounty chests, and you can get a lot more stuff for them. We also have these Midtown boosts, or not Midtown, but Odin's Bounty boosts that give us some Riff and Sif, as well as Odin Mark drop rates, and also a greater potential to get what's called an Odin's Gift, or something along those lines. And then this is kind of cool too. The mini gifts is also another new sort of thing that we've got. Let me see if I can find it. It might be under items. I didn't really look for it though, unfortunately. I guess I should probably just click the buy now. It won't let me buy. Maybe they're not actually active yet technically. But either way, the idea is that you can buy those, and you specifically buy them for people, and then it gives these people these little boosts. It's similar to being able to gift somebody like a random boost or a retcon device, whatever it happens to be. So for example, I'll just pick somebody in my super group so that nobody feels left out. Ooh, gift items. See, this is new too. There we go. So see, rarity drop boost, for example, right-click this item, increases your rare item find for an hour. Yay! And it's only 25G, so they're really cheap. That's a quarter. It's 25 cents. So very inexpensive, and it's kind of cool. A couple of the devs, I know Real Near mentioned that if he has like a really good X defense or a really good like raid or whatever, then he'll buy boost for a couple of people just because, you know, it's a nice thing to do. Good way to sort of spread the love around. So either way, 1.34 patch, lots and lots of changes, very, very welcome changes. Obviously some bugs to still work out, but hopefully that won't take too long. But either way, as always, have fun playing, enjoy the game, go out, find those uniques, have a great time. We're waiting on some awesome changes to costumes as well, getting new costumes, just all sorts of stuff on top of things like the team up revamp. It's going to be great. Very much looking forward to all of this. And so I'm going to go ahead and start playing. You all should start too. And regardless, I will see you next time.
It's as sweet as candy. It's tasty.